All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Ranger Central, and the Rangers win 5-1 over the Washington Capitals in Game 33 of the regular season. Before I jump even into anything with the recap and all that, again, I want to apologize for going live late because I know people don't like when I do. I went to the game unexpectedly. Shout out to Matt, who is co-host of my podcast, and also will probably be in the chat tonight. Shout out to him. He ended up getting some tickets tonight, and he invited me, so I tagged along because I'm gonna accept some free tickets. What a freaking window tonight! What an effort! What an effort! Because I don't need to break this down any more than this. I could spend 2 seconds with this recap, and that will tell you everything about this game. Spencer Carberry sucks. Spencer Carberry is a fraud. Spencer Carberry does not know how to coach in the NHL. And Peter Laviolette absolutely pantsed him, bent him over the table, and spanked him with the wooden spoon. This thing was not even close in the third period at that point. The third period, forget about it. The Rangers took over the game. Sure, they took their foot off the gas towards the end, but they're up 5-1 at that point. I don't care. At that point, fine. I don't care. Take your foot off the gas. Obviously, if you start lining up some goals, then you got to dial back in, but fine. The last few minutes, I could accept and live with you not playing crisp defensively when you played defensively strong enough for the majority of this game, especially that third period in the beginning. That was pretty much what I've been asking for the past few weeks. The past few weeks, I've been asking for them to play structured, defensive, simple hockey like they did in the third period. The third period, the neutral zone trap was there. You saw it alive. You saw it well. Washington was struggling to get through. You saw a forecheck that was way more alive. You saw them generate more chances. The third period was everything you could have asked for, and the only thing that you maybe could have asked for is better defensive play towards the end because things got a little sloppy in the last 5 minutes or so, but you're up 5-1 at that point. So I, for one, can't be too mad, but that's what you need to see. The offense definitely was a little sloppy at points in this game. We're not going to sugarcoat that. This offense in the first and second period, honestly, the first period, it was vomit worthy from the offense. Like I'm not going to deny that. It was vomit worthy, some of the things they were doing. Adam Fox, whether it's him making no-look passes, especially on the power play too. Like, are we serious with some of the passes he was trying to make at certain points? The second period too, just no-look passes on the power play. Couldn't break it out of their own end, even if it's on the power play. Just so much slop at points with their passing, and it was more of them shooting themselves in the foot like they did almost in Toronto. Thankfully, they got some bounces like they did, though, against Edmonton, like they pretty much did against Buffalo. Thankfully, they won that game, but definitely just a lot better of a performance than what we've seen. A lot better and a lot to be happy about. And I'm curious where all the people that wanted Spencer Carberry over Peter Laviolette are right now. Give yourself a scratch on the head and shut your damn mouth. Shut your damn mouth. Admit you were wrong. Admit that Peter Laviolette is clearly the better coach. You saw it live tonight. What you saw in Washington when the Rangers lost that game is not that's not what that had nothing to do with Spencer Carberry being a good coach. Spencer Carberry sucks. He blows, and I don't want to hear. I'm tired of hearing about that guy. And then friggin' Evgeny Kuznetsov. Was it Peter Laviolette's fault that you missed that chance right in front of the net, you goofball? Was it his fault? Oh, I've been waiting to take that victory lap on that clown because the amount he was running his mouth about how, Peter Laviolette ruined this team. Peter Laviolette was so bad for us. We sucked because of him. We always got injured because of him. Shut your damn mouth. You're a clown. You're not good at hockey anymore. Sorry, Kuznetsov. This isn't 2018, 2017, where you guys are winning president's trophies left and right, getting bounced by Pittsburgh every year in the second round, or losing to or barely beating the Islanders in the first round, whatever it may be. Sorry, that's not you anymore. And sorry, you suck. Alexander Ovechkin on the decline. And just like I said in the moment, and look at it right now. Look at it right now. Like I said, with Ovechkin now on the decline, it's on full display that team is falling apart, and it is hilarious. You must be a sick person to enjoy the Caps' downfall. I'm dying here. Sucks. Now I get it. They could still make the playoffs. They have 17 wins on the year. They're 17 and 15 overall, if you want to include their OT losses. They're not necessarily playing horribly, but Evgeny Kuznetsov, that dude ran his mouth a lot and said Peter Laviolette ruined the team a lot for a team that's really mediocre at best. They're mediocre at best. I don't want to hear about it, but I digress. I'm done ranting about Kuznetsov and the Washington Capitals and Spencer Carberry. They're all clowns over there. What matters is that the Rangers kicked ass tonight. They truly did at multiple points in this game. And they, again, the first period, like I said, They had some chances early, but just not enough. Like Mika and Brodzinski had 2 early chances. They unfortunately couldn't score early on. Mika had that breakaway. Brodzinski had that chance in the slot. There was like another little chance that Mika had before that too. Couldn't end up scoring. The first line then allowed some pressure out there the next time they were out, and that just kept happening. The Rangers were allowing Washington to get way too much offensive zone time, and their defense was at least keeping them to the outside, not allowing the high danger chances, but it was still annoying watching them invite pressure into their own end because of the fact that they're making just some boneheaded mistakes, and they're just shooting themselves in the foot like we've seen the past few games. And whether it was sloppy turnovers in the neutral zone, trying to break the puck out of their own end and not being able to do it, whether it was dumb plays in the offensive zone, they were just turning the puck over way too much at points in this hockey game. And that's really what hurt them in the first period. So then you get a good setup from Lindgren. Kreider with a little bit of a tip pass to Mika Zibanejad for another breakaway. He fired high on that one, but John Carlson would go off for a hooking penalty, and the power play was atrocious. Adam Fox had a chance. Wasn't a good one, but that was pretty much your power play. Then Trocheck with a nice hit in the D zone, and then Lafreniere, he passes it over, and then another pass over to Gustafsson. Gustafsson hits the post on that, and then this was just ugly. Lindgren got beat by somebody. I don't even remember who it was on watch. They got beat by somebody, allowed a breakaway. Then he takes a tripping penalty. That cannot happen. Can't be getting flat-footed like that. Ryan Lindgren definitely stepped up after this. Thankfully, he didn't have the worst game. I thought he was okay, but that mistake, that one was ugly. That one was ugly, but the first period, I thought they were decent defensively. Outside of that one chance, they allowed 2 high danger chances, but again, the offense, it was similar to what we saw in that Edmonton game where they just invited too much pressure because of the bad turnovers, because of the breakouts. And the forecheck, too, just looked weak. There was not enough havoc, and their transition game was way too slow. Way too slow. Then you get to the second period. Wilson beats Trouba on a play. Thankfully, he missed the net. And the penalty ends up being killed there by the Rangers at the end of that period. Then a brutal shift by Eric Gustafsson leads to an extended D zone shift for the Rangers. Thankfully, again, they do a good job of keeping Washington from getting some good chances on net, but the Rangers would make it 1-0 as Adam Fox with a nice setup in the crease, and then Washington comes the other way. Or no, sorry, why am I saying it like the Rangers went up 1-0? I pulled a Mark Williams and I messed up. It would be 1-0 because Adam Fox made a mistake. Adam Fox would make a better play later on, but Adam Fox made a mistake at first as he tries to step up and intercept the pass in the neutral zone, and then Washington comes in, and Anthony Mantha would end up scoring past Igor Shesterkin. That makes it 1-0. I don't know why I thought the Rangers went up 1-0. I don't know where my head is at, but regardless, that made it 1-0. Then right after, Dylan Strome got a chance in front of the net. Thankfully, he couldn't bury it. Jacob Trouba unnoticeably just went absent. Also, Schneider and Miller were out there going behind the net, but Strome later on in the shift goes off for a hooking penalty. We didn't even know. The ref didn't announce it. Nothing happened, but another garbage power play again. Terrible passing, and they couldn't get set up. But then the Rangers would score their first goal as they tied up at 1. Keandre Miller, he made me want to throw my phone on the ice early on in the shift, but then he ends up getting just good passing there from Schneider to Miller, Miller to Panarin. Panarin then gives it over to Mika. Miller comes crashing towards the net, and he gets a beautiful goal to tie the game up at 1. So that was huge. And then Gaudreau, offensive zone penalty, offensive zone trip. I get that Carlson held him, and people are mad about that. Barclay Goodrow needs to watch his stick. He's made way too many. He's had way too many dumb infractions throughout the season, and it's pissing me off. Trocheck then has to break up a pass that almost got in front of Ovi, and then Marashenko went off for a tripping penalty, and the Rangers would end up scoring on the power play, which looked yet again brutal. But the passing at the end. The passing was horrible is what I mean. But then at the end, it ended up working out as Panarin gets a feed from Zibanejad, who set up Trocheck to get the other feed to Panarin, and Panarin snipes it 2-1. And then just 40 seconds after, Braden Schneider would fire one from the point from Lindgren and Vesey to make it 3-1. Not a good goal for Darcy Kemper to let up, but 3-1 all of a sudden. And the Rangers really put their foot on the gas after that, and there was no looking back. They got more chances again towards the end of that. Kreider had a rebound chance in front, couldn't bury it, but the Rangers still, the beginning of that period, definitely a lot of slop still with, the passing and breaking the puck out still, but they got better about halfway through. Again, I just wanted them to generate a bit more. They had 5 high danger chances at the end. They started to generate, but I wanted to see a little bit more. They ended up having the same amount in the third period, but it felt like there was more opportunities in the third period, and they really stepped on Washington's throat in the third. They announced Trouba was done for the game. It looked like apparently Wilson got him with an elbow. Who's surprised? Not me. Gaudreau had 2 chances alone, couldn't bury either. He sucks. I mean, there's no way around it. There's really no way around it. He sucks. Miller then lets Kuznetsov get behind him for a chance alone. Igor makes a stop. Somehow that's Laviolette's fault, though, according to Kuznetsov, even though he's not coaching anymore. Must have been Laviolette's fault, because who else would it be? Because that guy just does not hold himself accountable at all for his clown behavior. But the Rangers would make it 4-1 as Kreider gives it over to Keandre Miller and snipes it. Blake Wheeler would get an assist on this, 4-1. And then it's not too long after, 5-1, as a beautiful feed from Adam Fox to Alexi Lafreniere across, and he buries that 5-1. And the assist goes to Keandre Miller as well. And 10 goals now. 10 goals on the year for Lafreniere. I know we're all disappointed and want more. If we're going to try to be somewhat positive, I mean, 10 goals in December with the way he looked in preseason was not on my bingo card at all. But I still want to see a little more from him. I still think he could give more. He had a decent game, but I still feel he could give more than what he's been given lately, and especially tonight too. Even though he had the goal, I think he's capable of giving more. Kreider got a chance in front. Unfortunately, couldn't bury it. But again, they were just cooking. Pitlick got robbed in front of the net. Then Lindgren, terrible turnover. And Igor has to make another save. Kreider in transition gets denied on his chance. Igor making more stops because they got a little loose. He had a huge glove save on Connor McMichael. The third line in the last few minutes almost got a chance in front. Bonino missed wide on the opportunity there, but that was pretty much it. The second period, you look at it as their best on paper with the stats, but the third period truly was. I know they allowed 4 high danger chances at 5v5, and that was the most they did, but it felt like they played way better defensively in that period than what that suggests. And on top of that, like I said, it's just the fact that they're up 5-1 and they got loose at the end. Outside of that, they really didn't allow much in that period besides the Kuznetsov one early. So yeah, they did a good job shutting it down and playing the neutral zone trap towards the end. So you absolutely take it. You absolutely take that there. And I am very pleased with the effort. And I know people are gonna be like, wow, you're actually pleased? Yeah, I'm pleased with the effort for the most part in this game. Not for the most part. I truly am. It's just the sloppy passing, I think, still needs to be cleaned up. There's way too much slop with the passing at points. But you know what? Laviolette made an adjustment in the third, and yeah, Washington didn't have a chance. They didn't have a chance. Darcy Kemper can't make a save. He blows. That entire organization blows. Good for them winning a cup in 2018. You're not that team anymore. Like I said last time they played Washington, I don't circle them on the calendar as a game where it's like, oh, I'm scared. Washington's coming up on the schedule. That just doesn't happen anymore. It just doesn't. So I'm very pleased. And now they go to Florida to play the Panthers and then play the Lightning. So they got a back-to-back there. Then they play Carolina, Chicago. That's going to be fun but nerve-wracking watching Connor Bedard in the Garden. You know that guy's gonna feel it in the moment there and make it a special night. But and then at least they finally have a break of a back-to-back on a weekend coming up. Like that's been so annoying how much they've been getting with the back-to-backs. But I digress. If I gotta say this too though. Braden Schneider, I've been clowning on him all year. It's not even a secret. He was so good tonight. Him and Keandre Miller were so good. And Schneider, I got to give him more credit because of the fact that he stepped up when Jacob Trouba was out at points in this game. He stepped into a role that he normally doesn't step into. And it's more nerve-wracking for us as fans because of how he's played all year. He had a very good game. And then on top of that, Keandre Miller, like I said, very good game from him. In terms of the other defensemen, can't really say much with Trouba. Gustafsson, didn't love his game. But the guy that was really the one that annoyed me the most in terms of their defensive play was Ryan Lindgren at points in this game. Like he's just been, I don't know what's gotten in his head. I don't know what's going on. The chart says he was positive defensively. I don't think he was that great tonight. I thought he settled down a little bit after the first period, but that one turnover he had in the third period too, just brutal. Like he's just been aggravating me this season, but I can't complain too much. They played overall a solid defensive effort as a team. And if you want a guy that really pissed me off outside of that, Barclay Goodrow, but he just does every night. So doesn't this is nothing new. Carmelo Anthony quote right there. But yeah, again, what you saw, if you want me to go back to the initial point that I made in the recap, what you saw was a coach that knows what he's doing versus a coach that is a rookie and has no idea what he's doing. You're telling me that I was supposed to want Spencer Carberry over Laviolette? Can't believe that was even a conversation. Why would I want a guy that was working under Sheldon Keefe of all people for years? That dude's a clown just as much as Carberry. And then, like I said, Kuznetsov, I couldn't stop laughing my ass off at the way he was playing tonight. And I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't help but laugh when he missed that breakaway opportunity that he got. Because it's so funny how this guy ran his mouth about how Laviolette's a bad coach. He's the reason we suck now. Shut your stupid mouth. Just shut your mouth. I'm interested to see what quotes we have from tonight, too. Keandre Miller talks about his performance tonight. I don't think I've been playing my best hockey. I mean, yeah, we're not going to disagree there, Keandre. I'm sorry, but we're not. I went into the break with some goals coming out of the break, doing a little bit more. Luckily, the puck found me tonight, and I was able to capitalize. Yeah. The main thing we're asking from you is consistency, Keandre, because that's really the thing that aggravates me the most is how streaky he is. So, as long as he could put it together and have a hot stretch, that would be nice. But and then you have Zibanejad talking about his 800th game. Do we have anything from Laviolette tonight? Because I'd love to see, or I'd love to hear some quotes from him. And I wish that he was asked about how good it feels to beat that clown Kuznetsov, because what a clown that guy is. You and Spencer Carberry both just got pantsed and beaten with the wooden spoon right in the tuchus. Shut your stupid mouth. But I think that's really all I'm going to talk about with the game before I get to the chat. I don't think I really have much else to say. I'm very very pleased. But before we jump into everything else, please be sure to leave a like if you have not already on the game show. We are currently at 11 likes, 11 with almost 30 of you in here. I apologize for going live late. I don't expect a lot of you to be here when I do these later on, but I'd appreciate every single one of you that could leave a like. Let's try to get 50. We're on the road to 2K subs. Let's get there. But let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. Yeah, Mike, I would say that we're happy with this win. Good game. Slow start, but a very good win. Igor looks like he's back, which you love to see. That's another thing that I didn't even mention. Igor Shesterkin is looking like he's back, and maybe I cooked with a take for once. If you watched Joey's podcast, Ice Cold Takes, I said on his podcast that my take was he was going to bounce back, and not only that, bounce back so much that him and Quick put it together to win the Jennings Trophy. So hopefully that could happen. The defensive performance from this game is what we want to see this team do on a consistent basis. Yeah, this was like a playoff win in terms of the way they played defense, the way they were scoring goals. It really felt like a playoff game, and that's one of the biggest takeaways you could take from this game too. Third period was great. Played shutdown defense. Great play in the neutral zone. Good forecheck and created chances as well. Big up to Keandre and Schneider tonight. They were excellent. Agree with all of that. Even though we talked about it at the game and on the way home. On a side note, I watched Goudreau whiff on 2 or 3 great chances tonight while Kane scored again for Detroit. Yeah, but at least he brings intangibles like taking offensive zone penalties or high sticking penalties off of the face-off draw. Yeah, Miller and Schneider, kudos to them. Look good tonight. Yeah, Christ Kreider. Got to see him live walking on water with his sandals and his toga. Shout out to Christ Kreider. And yeah, that's the other thing. Put pucks on net and see what happens. How much have I been shouting this for the past few weeks that just put pucks on net, especially against some of these goaltenders that just aren't good. Like Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, the amount of rebounds he was leaving for the Rangers and they didn't pounce on it pissed me off. It pissed me off. This is a hot take, Bobby. I think it's a hot take just because I don't see it. But mark my words, this is Lindgren's last year. He is honestly terrible in most aspects of hockey besides blocking shots. I would agree with you, Bobby, that I would prefer them to get a new left shot top pair D-man. I just think they're going to extend him because of him and Fox. They have been playing together for such a long time at this point. They're best friends, and we know how it goes. I don't see a world where they let Lindgren walk, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, but like it's the truth. If he starts playing better, then that's one thing, but I don't know. Moving off the puck leads to a goal and high danger chances. Who would have thought? Yeah, it's crazy, right? Luca's going to Sunrise on Friday. Enjoy that. People will be going to the game in Florida. I see you guys in chat saying it. Lindgren shouldn't be in the top four, and also they should seriously consider. I'm assuming you meant to put consider trading him in a package of some sort with a forward and a pick for Hannafin from the Flames. I would add Lindholm also, but that's not likely. I think that's, if anything, an overpay. Or an overpay if they were going to just get Hannafin, like Lindgren, a forward, and a pick. That's a huge overpay for a rental in Elias Lindholm. If you're getting, or not Lindholm, in Hannafin, but if you're getting Lindholm, that changes the conversation a lot because then you're moving, forward that you'd presume the upgrade then is Lindholm. Then you move out Lindgren. Calgary gets a younger defenseman who they have more control of and will have to suffer there. Noah Hannafin helps in for the right side of the defense, and then you give them a pick as well. That would make more sense than just getting Hannafin in that sort of deal. But I would explore moving Lindgren too. He's not been impressing me at all this year, but that's just me. I disagree with Laugh being the most consistent on that line. Trocheck has been Trocheck's been great in terms of all aspects. If you mean just 5v5, I'm guessing that's what you meant because that's what the comment said. Then, maybe, but I would still say Trocheck personally. That's just me. Philk, what's going on? Get to sit back now and let Evan do the work. Yeah. Let me scream my head off. Arizona won. Arizona won. Interesting. I didn't even see what happened really tonight. The Ducks beating the Knights. Yeah, that's normal. Pierre Dubois scored. That's something we don't see every day. The Devils came back and won. I want to vomit. Tampa Bay loss. Interesting. Great. Now they're going to come out hungry next game against the Rangers. That's always fun. Unless they play another game before they play the Rangers. But regardless, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with the goaltending. Maybe they go Igor against Florida and Quick against Tampa. I don't know. Then we got Toronto blowing a 2-goal lead. What else is new? Boston whooping Buffalo. What else is new? Buffalo. Don Granato, that guy's going to be the next coach fired. He's got to be the next one fired. The Islanders getting waxed in their own building. That's something that I would say you love to see, but I don't like to see Pittsburgh winning either. So not really too big of a win there. And then Detroit getting spanked again, just like I called in October. They were fake. Carolina winning. That sucks. The Blues beating Dallas. That's an interesting one. And then Arizona beating Colorado. Wow. Alexander Georgiev. Not a great goalie. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And then you have Connor Bedard just, putting the Blackhawks on his back and beating Winnipeg of all teams. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Do the Rangers want to win the Metro? Yeah, do the Islanders want to stop blowing leads? Some of that was just Mark is one of a kind. Like, you can't replace him, and that's why we love him. That's why we love Mark. He's he's the gift that keeps on giving. That man. He's one of a kind in the way he steers the ship there. And if you're not subbed to Big Apple Hockey, go check them out. They do better work than me over here with their show. Could my camera focus a bit? See, this is what I mean. Like, not good work over here. They do better work than me over here. Mark will mess up. You get a good laugh. Anthony's dogs will always bark. Philk is good for a rant once a stream. What's better than spending your Wednesday night doing that, watching them? Kuznetsov, your role, know it. Carberry, your mouth, shut it. Seattle on their beautiful road. Whites are up 2-1 on Calgary. Calgary should have been rebuilding a while ago. I don't understand them. Yeah, Igor and Quick. It's looking good now with Igor stepping up, looking like, casually maybe the best tandem. Swayman and Olmarco. Although I don't think Olmark's having the best year. He might statistically because Boston in front of him, but I haven't really paid attention to his stats. He hasn't impressed me though anytime I see him play. Christ, Kreider turned rocks in the bread and water in the wine. Yeah, I saw a lot of that tonight, especially when he got high sticked and nothing was called there. He was just trying to turn rocks in the bread on the play, and then he got high sticked and no call there. I literally screamed on Twitter for them to fire the puck every possible time on UPL the other night. He was letting up rebounds left and right. Yeah, I don't understand that. Christ, Kreider needs to be on a shirt. Like the thing is, how do we even like go about making a shirt like that where it's like every single one of Mark's mistakes? Like that would be a funny shirt. Like every misspelt name or where he said Justin Huberto instead. But the issue is you're gonna have to constantly update it. Like we'd have to do it year by year, like 2023 Mark's mistakes, and then on the back it has all the mistakes he made for the year. It would have to be something like that, so you don't have to constantly update it. I'd have to start keeping a log of that. The calendar's flipping to 2024 soon. Might have to just keep a log of every single one of Mark's mistakes there, and then we make a shirt at the end of each year. And next year we have the 2024 edition, and on the back it has every mistake. Christ, Kreider rose from the dead on the 5th day and scored power play goals. Oh my god. Christ, Kreider. That, and do the Rangers want to win the Metro? That man had me so close to collapsing on the floor tonight. Yes, everybody leave a like and subscribe. Christ, Kreider blessed up with his tip time and time again. Yeah. Trocheck and Panarin are still putting up points. They just don't score 5v5 lately, and the bad thing is that line gets scored on a good amount. Yeah, I mean, I thought they were okay tonight, but I'd agree that they need to get a little more going 5v5. Bar talk. The Rangers love seeing the second place Islanders lose again in regulation. This one is I mean, yeah, the GIF needs to be pulled out for that one. That one's a layup. That one is most definitely a layup. First away game live. Road games are fun for sure, Luca. I went to the one against Buffalo. I've been against the Islanders, but the first one that's like, not local really for me was against Buffalo for the for opening night this year, and that was a lot of fun. I might make the trip to Toronto in March, and I want to hit up Chicago at some point. And then for the memes of the channel, you already know that Winnipeg is going to be on the bucket list at some point. Yeah, that's the thing that's concerning with Lindgren is how his body will hold up, because we saw it with Girardi, we saw it with Stahl, And we've been saying it for a while that extending him would just be doing that all over again. And I don't know if it's going to be if it's the best idea. Big Apple Hockey and Rangers Central. We do our best. We do our best. I at least do my best. They kill it there. And then there's me, who is the jerk off of Ranger fans that most people never agree with because of how critical I am. Allmark's save percentage is low and his goals against is high. Swayman's numbers are far better. Yeah, my co-host Nico cooked with that. We did bold takes before the year, and his take was that Swayman was going to take the cage from Allmark, and it's looking like it. We need that more than anything. I would also consider putting Hedel back with Laugh and Panarin whenever he comes back. I still think Trocheck forces to Panarin too much and tries to deke through three guys and turns the puck over. That's an interesting conversation. I'm curious. I don't know at this rate if Hedel's even going to come back for the regular season. Like, we're not even hearing they skate. Like, there was a brief time he was skating on his own. Now it seems like he's not even skating again. I'm getting concerned that he's even going to come back until like the playoffs, if anything. Because if he's not back by February, at that point, you got to just leave him on LTIR for the season. And, if he's ready come playoff time, you bring him back. If not, you go out and get, Elias Lindholm or a guy like that. Maybe consider bringing Patrick Kane back for the wing. Go out and get whoever else you may want to. But you got to maybe consider spending that cap space on a little more areas, because, imagine a scenario where they're able to bring in more names because of, like, they become Jack Carl. They have options there if they end up getting the extra cap space there from Hedel and from him being on LTIR, because then we're looking at a scenario where it's realistic to have those pipe dream deadlines that we had last year, where it's like, can they get Tarasenko and Kane? They did. We can maybe start dreaming big of Lindholm and Kane, or, Kane and Tarasenko again. Like, I'm just throwing examples out there. I'm not saying it has to be those guys, but just something of that combination. But if they could find a way, like, for me, that would be the dream. If they could find a way to get both Lindholm and Kane in here, that would be great, because then you could rekindle that Kreider, Trocheck, and Kane line potentially. Move Hedel to the wing, maybe, or even throw him at center, like you said, with Panarin and Lafreniere, or maybe you could put Zibanejad. You got a lot of options. I think it's going to be Igor against Florida if I had to guess, but I could be wrong. We'll see, though. We will see. Someone photoshopped Kreider's face on Jesus and then Huberdeau's face on Justin Bieber and then put it together on a shirt. That's a great idea. That might have to be one of the shirt designs. Matt and I came up with some shirt design ideas, and one of them is definitely going to happen. Hit the damn button. Can't make the same Stahl Girardi mistake with Lindgren. Those terrible contracts for them hurt. Yeah, it really did hurt. It really hurt them. They can't make the same mistake. And I just have so many questions if they do that. And I don't think Lindgren's the top pair guy. They could do so much better. They really could do better. Love when you hop in Big Apple Hockey's live chat when layup talk starts. I'm there for most of the streams as much as I can. I couldn't stay the whole time because I was on my way to the game. But outside of that, yeah, I try my best to tune in every single time that they're live and be there. And I have saved on a document the layup talk intro. So all I do is just copy and paste that in the chat every time either the DraftKings read happens or the bar talk or layup talk intro starts. But yeah. Mangiapane is more Nick's boy. I got to give credit to C-Jets. That's more his guy, but I'm definitely a passenger on the Mangiapane bus, and I would be more than okay with Mangiapane as well. Yeah, Showtime back on Broadway would be great, wouldn't it? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he is. Oh, yeah, he's tearing it up in Detroit. And I'm curious where the people that were calling me stupid and calling me non-puck knowers are at. Like I give credit to some people on Twitter. There were a couple people tonight that ended up admitting that they were wrong. Good on you. Good on you if you're able to admit that you're wrong. That's all you have to do. Just admit you were wrong. But there's still some people, for whatever reason, despite Patrick Kane playing well, that just don't like him so much. Well, they just don't like him as a person, but they shift the goalposts so much non-stop and keep making excuses. Just admit that you were wrong and just be quiet. If you don't like him as a person, fine. That is what it is. But admit you were wrong about him as a player and that he's not washed. Like, why were we using Nicholas Backstrom and who was already cooked before the surgery and a cooked Ryan Kessler as the examples here? That's not, like, those weren't good examples as to guys that are coming off hip surgery, and like those are outliers to what Patrick Kane was going to be. And it was so obvious. But if you were concerned about it, I'm not going to be too mad. But if you're admitting you were wrong, at least you're admitting you were wrong. But the people that just can't admit it for whatever reason, that's where I have my issue, is that it's just admit it. It's just admit that you were wrong. And he's tearing it up. If Patrick Kane forces his way here again, they have to be all over it. They have to. And I could see him forcing his way back here. He wanted to be back here, and Drury had to tell him, unfortunately, the cap space. We know you want to make some good money, but we can't make it work for cap reasons. Maybe we could explore this at the deadline. Maybe they told him that, but yeah, I could see him wanting back. He wanted to be back here badly. We saw all the reports, whether it was Emily Kaplan or even some of the other reporters like Brooks. I think Larry Brooks even too was talking about how Kane wanted to come back. It could happen. Could happen. And he's not gonna have a choice but to buy in the Laviolette system. If Panarin's buying in, Patrick Kane will buy in. A guy that has won cups and knows what it takes. Yeah. I love to put that. I got to start keeping track of Mark's stats again too during layup talk. I had a document with his stats for a bit, but I got to figure out how I want to put that together. Yeah, my Igor apology cards filled out a bit too. Granted, I wasn't as harsh on him, but I did start to get concerned the game before he ended up kind of getting in a rhythm here. Is what I should say. No, Kane would he might play with them. Because I don't know if they want to break up that line, but I'd really like to see an extended look of that line that Kane played on with Kreider and Trocheck. That line, people don't talk about. People are all like, "Oh, Kane messed with the chemistry." No. That line was so good down the stretch, and people just forget it. And for whatever reason, just don't want to talk about it just because, again, they don't like Patrick Kane at all. But people don't remember that line was good. And people don't remember too, they're not the reason that we had the line juggling. The reason there was line juggling is because of the fact that Zibanejad and Panarin were not getting enough going in the playoffs with Tarasenko on that line. So they had to shake things up. And then all of a sudden they had to move things around, put Kreider and Zibanejad with Kane. And then they had to put Panarin with Trocheck and Tarasenko, or sometimes Hedel would be on there, and you had the constant line juggling, as we know. But that's what really messed with the chemistry. Like, people blame Patrick Kane. It was not his fault that Zibanejad and Panarin no-show in the playoffs. Like, give me a break. Give me a break with that garbage. Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't buy into to Laviolette. People's hatred for Kane clouds their judgment. Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like, admit it. Um, I'm not sure how the Caps were playing beforehand. I'd have to check. I mean, I watched that game a bit against the Islanders that they played. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed with Washington. I'm still not that impressed with them. I really don't think they're that good of a team. I was higher on them though than some people. I will say that. I was definitely higher on them because a lot of people thought they were going to be worse than Columbus. I thought Columbus would be worse, but I didn't expect them to be worse than Philly, and I didn't expect Philly to be where they are right now. That was a little bit of a surprise to me. But they've been okay. I mean, nothing too impressive from Washington looking at their past few games. They obviously lost tonight, lost to Tampa Bay in a shootout before the break, won in overtime back-to-back games against the Islanders and Blue Jackets, beat Carolina, which their goalies are basically playing dodgeball instead of goalie. Then you have Nashville, who they lost to. They lost to Philly, beat Chicago. I mean, I don't know. I'm not. And yeah, they were 3-1 their previous four, but a lot of close games. And I wasn't that impressed when I watched them play the Islanders. I wasn't that impressed with that game. Just because I think the Islanders are outperforming a bit, or they're higher in the standings than they should be. I don't think this is really a secret that they're higher in the standings than they should be because of all their OT losses. And there's a good amount of flaws with that team. Their structure defensively, it's funny how much it's the ass opposite of what we've seen the past few years, how they've been so good defensively, and now they love to blow leads. It's their favorite thing to do. And, even Mark Williams, he threw up the question, do they want to keep blowing third period leads? Apparently they do. Apparently they do. Well, this time they didn't even get a lead tonight. They just flat out sucked. But like, you look at their expected goals against, they are not good at all. They're in the bottom 5 in expected goals against per 60. Their offense, though, it looks like they're actually underachieving, I think, from what they are. Their expected goals for, they're not per 60. They're 9th in that category. Their actual goals for, they're in the bottom 10. So they're getting a bit unlucky offensively, but defense at the same time, it evens out because their defense has been just flat out atrocious at points. And you look at their defense, their goaltending's actually bailing them out at points, it looks like, from the analytics here and the numbers. So it's a little bit of both. They're getting bailed out by goaltending at points, and they're getting a little unlucky offensively. They're pretty much playing up to like where you'd expect, but they're a little overachieving in terms of their points, just because of, like I said, the OT losses are crazy. I still don't like Goudreau, the 1 to 2 million range, and 3.6. I don't really like. I don't know. I'm not a Goudreau guy at all. I think there's way better bottom 6 options. Like, I tune into Vegas and I watch Amadio, a guy like that, the way he plays. I tune in and watch Tyler Mott play some hockey, Nick Foligno. There's just so many other bottom six guys that I watch play. And it's like, how is it that Barclay Goodrow is making this much money when there are so many guys better than him at that role? Yeah, I thought the Metro was going to be a lot more of a dogfight too. Yeah, Goudreau loves the penalty box. Can't pull leads when you don't have one. True. Do the Islanders want to lose less games in overtime? I like Goudreau. He does the dirty work on the fourth line, and without complaining. I don't see it. I don't see it. He makes so many mistakes. I don't see it at all with him. I don't even see him do anything outstanding in terms of like penalty kill work. Like sometimes he will make an occasional play, but not enough for a guy who's making 3.6. And again, I think you could just do a lot better in the bottom six, like Josh Archibald. Mott is a faster Goudreau. Mott's also never been able to score at the level Goudreau's been able to score at. Yeah, I like that's the whole thing that I think the thing that's hurting Barclay Goudreau the most this year is that he's not putting up points either. Like he at least was putting up 30 points the previous few years. He only has 4 this year. That makes things look a lot rougher than they have at least the past few years. You could hang your hat on that, but I don't know. Like I like the eye test. I just watched some of these bottom six guys, and I just like them a lot more, especially Nick Foligno. If the Rangers could get Nick Foligno for the bottom six at the deadline, I'm going to be like one of the few Ranger fans that is genuinely doing cartwheels and backflips for that move because I can't express how underrated Nick Foligno is as a bottom six piece. That guy is, if you look every single year at his metrics, always consistently a good player to have in terms of defensive help. He chips in offensively. He chips in offensively a lot, and this year he's getting more of an opportunity in Chicago. I get it because of how bad of a team they are, but still, I before like 2 weeks ago or a week ago even, he had just as many even strength points as Mika Zibanejad. And again, I get he's on Chicago getting a bigger role, but I would still take that. And he knows how to play in the playoffs too. Granted, Columbus doesn't go far, but still, I would seriously explore Nick Foligno as an option if they could get him. The only issue is really that insane cap hit and how even if three teams it's a 3-team trade, it's going to be hard to, you know, really orchestrate more deals with that. But I had to love Nick Foligno on this team. That's the guy that I would be foaming at the mouth for. I mean, yeah, another thing I said that the Devils were highly overrated last year in my opinion. I thought the Devils were overrated, but I thought they overachieved. I think they're a solid team, but I just don't think they're as good as people made them out to be. Everyone came into the year being like, "Oh, they're easily the Metro favorites. There's no team better. Carolina, no way. They have a chance. And the Rangers, they're a lock for third. No way. No, 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 no. That's just not the case. I'm sorry. It's just not. I thought Carolina was going to win the division, and I had the Rangers in second, but New Jersey. I mean, I don't. They're a good team, like I said, but they are highly, highly, highly they're highly overrated, or they were going into the year, and I think people are now understanding that they're really not as good as people made them out to be. Like, they're not some juggernaut, is what I should say. They're a good team. They'll make the playoffs probably, and maybe they win around, but they're really not going to do much more than that, in my opinion, unless they get hot at the right time and they make significant changes at the deadline to help them. Yeah, Gallant sucked too. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't take Archibald slander around here, Philk. We can't take Archibald slander around here. If Nick was here, he'd be, yeah. If Nick was here, Nick would go on an absurd rant. He'd pull up his Google Slides with all the miscellaneous stats that he loves about Josh Archibald. I have never seen someone obsess about Josh Archibald the way he does, and you know what? Fair enough to him. Fair enough. Yeah, I would want Foligno over Monahan. Yeah, I'm not a Monahan guy at all. I really am not a Monahan guy. And the thing is with Monahan, it's not necessarily the player and his style of play or anything like that, and lack of production. It's really that he doesn't like playing full seasons. It's really what it comes down to. Yeah, their defense isn't great in New Jersey. Need to do a pregame show. I used to do some pregame shows, but I don't know. I felt like it was a little repetitive at points, and I don't know if doing pregame shows will is the best idea. And then I go to games sometimes, so it's kind of hard to do a pregame show. Yeah, they need a couple more years. The Devils. Goaltending garbage. Carolina's overrated. They've always been, even the year the Rangers beat them in the second round. Yeah, I can admit that I kind of overrated Carolina a bit going into the year. I thought they were a lock to win the Metro. Yeah, Lindy Ruff's a fraud. The Google slides and the miscellaneous stats. Yeah, would be going Nick would be going crazy on you, Philk, if you dare slander Josh Archibald in front of him. Yeah, I think Hamilton's going to be out for the year too. I think that's what they said, and then they're going to use his the space that they get from him to make some acquisitions. Yeah, Igor's going to stay the starter. I didn't think he was going to lose the net really, except for that cold streak. I thought maybe Quick would take it for a couple games, but he was never going to like actually fully take the net. Yeah, that's the thing with Carolina. They don't have the stars. They don't have the stars to get over the hump. They're similar to the way the Rangers were at points with their core, like to a degree. Obviously they don't have a Henrik Lundqvist, but they're similar in terms of like they just never had enough to get over the hump. And then sometimes they get bad luck too. Like last year they dealt with some injuries. Last year was really the year Carolina could have actually done it, but they didn't do enough at the deadline either. Like Jesse Puljujarvi, that's your deadline acquisition. That was just dumb. I don't understand that one still. But we've been going for an hour now. I didn't even realize. So that's unreal. But yeah, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the post-game show. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like if you have not already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on your notifications if you haven't already. And yeah, big win. And we'll be back at it when they play Tampa Bay next on Friday. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go Rangers.